In this liturgy, we remember our God who made a covenant with creation, with humans, all living creatures, and earth itself, never to destroy earth and life on earth with floodwaters. The rainbow is witness to that covenant, and we too make a covenant with earth and call on the rainbow to witness our promises. Let us pray. Holy One, long ago indigenous peoples used to hear the voice of the land, nurture the landscape, and celebrate the spirit within all things. They knew there was an intimate bond between all kin, human and non-human. But recent years, some humans have cleared the face of the land and turned the landscape into wasteland. They have treated the land as a source of wealth, not wonder. The earth is groaning in pain because of the injustice she has suffered. We are called now to be prophets, like Robin Kilmer-Wall, Greta Thunberg, and many young people, to give voice to the cries of the earth. Amen.
A reading from Genesis 9, verses 8 to 17. God then said to Noah and his family, I hereby establish my covenant with you and with your descendants after you, and with every living creature that is with you, birds, cattle, and the earth's wildlife, everything that came out of the ark, everything that lives on the earth. I hereby establish my covenant with you. All flesh will never again be swept away by the waters of the flood. Never again will a flood destroy all the earth. God said, Here is the sign of the covenant between me and you and every living creature for ageless generations. I set my bow in the clouds, and it will be a sign of the covenant between me and the earth. When I bring clouds over the earth, my bow will appear in the clouds. Then I will remember the covenant that is between me and you and every kind of living creature, and never again will the waters become a flood to destroy all flesh. Whenever my bow appears in the clouds, I will see it and remember the everlasting covenant between God and every living creature on the earth. God said to Noah, This is the sign of the covenant that I have established between me and all living things on the earth. from the Inclusive Bible.
Quick, before it disappears, I yelled to my friends, my 10-year-old legs running hard. Up the hill behind the school we raced and skidded to an abrupt stop. The rainbow glistened in a hazy veil, and where we thought it had ended, it seemed to have overarched itself, and the end was no longer visible. We sighed a collective moan of disappointment. No pot of gold this time. We had a sort of belief in leprechauns and rainbows and pots of gold, enough to make us at least try to get to the end of the rainbow, just in case. Do you ever find that sort of belief exists somewhere deep inside when seriously thinking about God, the mystery in whom we live and move and have our being? The old stories no longer hold meaning, and a new story is birthing. But that's not enough. There's not enough language to provide the holding on we need to continue searching. That's why I love rainbows. That hazy substance, the end almost in sight, the promise of gold, and the chase to find a leprechaun sitting there, pulls and tugs at my heart, providing enough stimulus to keep looking. Even now, more than 60 years later, a rainbow can create a rise in my pulse rate and an ache in my heart. I want to run after it, just in case. So, what is a rainbow? According to one definition, it's a meteorological phenomenon caused by reflection, refraction, and dispersion of light in water droplets, resulting in a spectrum of light appearing in the sky. The colors of the rainbow span a continuous spectrum, some visible to the human eye: red, orange, yellow, green, indigo, blue, and violet. It can be seen as a whole circle. Sometimes it takes the form of a multicolored circular arc and appearing in the section of the sky opposite the sun. It is not located at a specific distance from the observer, but comes from an optical illusion caused by water droplets. The end of the rainbow cannot be reached. That is due to the fact that, like the moon, it moves with the view. Thus, rainbows cannot be seen to be static or have a stationary position in the sky. Well, that explains why we couldn't reach the end of the rainbow. But of course, we didn't know that back then. We just wanted the magic. Do I just want the magic still? The old stories about a super god who would solve our problems and save us from the disaster that is looming over us? If I'm honest, I'd have to admit, yes, I do. Please, give me that old-time magic. Come now and save us. Then I think about the rainbow, its optical, illusionistic, brief presence in the sky. Now it's here, then disappears, and reappears after rain or in the spray of waterfalls. So radiant, multicolored, magnificent. We don't see the whole circular arc or the whole spectrum of colors, nor do we completely understand that whole meteorological phenomenon. What does that suggest to us about the Holy One? Can we ever reach the Holy One and say, this is it? Try to leave your ideas about God at the doorstep of yourself, your whole self, those compartments where we store our concepts: body, mind, heart, spirit. Take a deep breath. Inhale. Now exhale. Again, inhale, exhale. calm, peace. Let's travel a road to hold this together. Perhaps some of us are afraid to think outside our established framework. That's understandable. Our framework is built on unstable dominoes. Move one, and the rest come tumbling down. Then what? What do you do when playing dominoes? You pick them up and begin again. But we're not playing a game here. Some dominoes, the concepts, beliefs, will be placed back in the pack, while others might be seen from a different perspective. It takes time to process ideas and new concepts. Like the rainbow, some see only 5 colors, others 7. Some see a circle and others an arc. It all depends on perspective. So it is with unending mystery. We learn something new and place the former belief on the shelf as we would an award we had won. We honor the past while embracing the present and walking into the future. We are moving towards wholeness, and we're moving in love, not fear. First, think of the entire cosmos, all planets, galaxies, nebulae, meteors, our Earth, all living and non-living creatures, and yourself. Allow yourself that overwhelming, joyful burden of seeing wholeness. Inhale, exhale. All of this is birthing, evolving, continuing, just as we are. One of my favorite children's books is called The Blessing Seed. The first line says, "In the beginning, God sang everything alive." What a joyful abundance! Everything derived from that song, that birth light. Science will say a small spark in the darkness of space exploded, and there was a great flowing forth, and from that we have the cosmos, a living, breathing, seamless whole, our God book, written by the Holy One for us to explore. We have only to look at pictures from deep space taken by the Webb telescope to actually see the almost beginning as light upon light shines in the darkness of space. This is breathtakingly beautiful, spectacular, glorious, and whole. I know we can't take it all in. Inhale again, exhale. Breathe with the breath of life in the wonder of life. Like the rainbow, the substance is fleeting, coming into our vision and receding because it is too vast to comprehend. There are invisible elements as well. The discovery of gravitational waves has taught us that the cosmos is not static, but rather a mysterious ocean of energy and matter in which space and time are interwoven and dynamic. We can't see this with our naked eyes, but scientists are learning about waves and particles, black holes, and the birthing of new stars in star nurseries. The more we learn about the cosmos, the more we realize how incomprehensible it is. We are living between discovery and mystery. Albert Einstein was reported as saying, "Try and penetrate with our limited means the secrets of nature, and you will find that behind all the discernible laws and connections, there remains something subtle, intangible, and inexplicable." Veneration for this force, beyond anything that we can comprehend, is my religion. To that extent, I am, in fact, religious. Einstein was right, for this seamless whole is our true home, the cathedral where we meet the Holy One in silence, and love. We are just beginning to understand that God, mystery, the breath of life, and all of the cosmos are one seamless whole. We cannot separate God from the cosmos or from us. This is huge and frightening and wonderful. Gone is that petty judge, a lawmaker, a super God, a punisher of actions. Some time ago, humans recreated God in their own image and placed their ideas of justice and righteousness on Him, and we have lived with disastrous results for the earth, women, children, diversity for several centuries. But when we try, with our limited understanding, to comprehend the wholeness of all creation, we have to admit this petty tyrant that was invented is not our God. Elia Delio writes, "This mysterious new universe calls for a renewed sense of the divine mystery. In the cosmos, a new religious myth, a new narrative that draws us into the cosmic waves that are, in some fundamental way, the source of our lives." We need to let science and the cosmos teach us about this one incomprehensible source of life. We need to let go and let God lead us where no dogma or doctrine could possibly go, since these were based on earlier conceptions of the universe. With new technology, scientists have opened another door and corrected our viewpoint. Just as the optometrist corrects our lenses so that we see more clearly, so scientists delve into our mysterious universe, and we delve more deeply into God. We need to let the dominoes fall where they may and be ready for change. We also need to see the cosmos as the original blessing, the gift of abundance given freely. Delio says again, we can appreciate the new science intellectually, but quantum edge biology challenges us to rethink how we organize our lives spiritually. The Spirit of God is within you, Jesus said. We are not called to maintain the existing order, but to engage in disorder as it lingers on the edge of the new order. This means living with a certain level of anxiety, uncertainty, and darkness, but also with faith, trust, hope, and surrender. We are called to live with a renewed energy of love, gathering the fragments of life into new wholes, and testing for possibilities of life with a sense of spiritual adventure. Let us leave outer space now and return to our home, the earth, and see where this spiritual adventure needs us to walk. Breathe with the breath and the source of all. Science interacted with religion until a mechanistic worldview emerged, and each created person, thing, creature became a cog in the wheel. We became separated from the cosmos. Isolation, loneliness, depression, a sense of hopelessness settled like a heavy, dark cloak on us. We lost our sense of God, creation, and self. It became imperative for us to strike out alone to survive. What a bleak outlook. Matthew Fox writes, "What a catastrophe. What a maiming of life when it was made personal, a merely personal feeling, taken away from the rising and setting of the sun, and cut off from the magical connection of the solstice and equinox." And D.H. Lawrence, a poet and author, says, "This is what's the matter with us. We are bleeding at the roots because we are cut off from the earth, the sun and stars, and love is a grinning mockery, because, poor blossom, we picked it from its stem on the tree of life and expected it to keep growing in our civilized vase on the table. I remember as a young teenager sitting in the backyard with my dad and just gazing at the canopy of stars overhead, catching my breath when a shooting star suddenly arched across the sky. "Make a wish," my dad would say. Then he would point out the constellations, the Big and Little Dippers, Orion's Belt, the Seven Sisters. The last time I saw such a canopy was about 8 years ago, when I was at a friend's cottage, and I was filled with joy, and at the same time overwhelmed with a deep sadness, for I knew when I returned home I wouldn't see this again. There is so much light pollution that the stars are hidden, and we live in perpetual twilight. When was the last time you saw a canopy of stars? Have your children, grandchildren, nieces, nephews ever seen a star-filled night? How do we instill a love for creation in our youth when they cannot see the most vital, vast aspect of our universe? But it doesn't have to be this way. We can find our way out of this morass. It will be a journey filled with trials, pain, and losses, but it will be filled with celebrations, joys, and rebirths. We are presently walking the path of the via negativa, emptiness, loneliness. It is not all bleak. We crisscross the via creativa, where we make a joyful music, wondrous sculptures, advanced technological devices for diseases, and continue to explore and learn more about our earth. We also cross paths with the via transformativa, where we let go of former teachings that helped us so much in the past, but no longer fulfill our deepest needs. When you speak for those who have no voice, defend the vulnerable, teach children to respect earth, our home. When you remember you are not only a part of the whole, but the whole resides in you, then you will be co-creators with mystery. Are we up to the task? The rainbow is a symbol of hope after a devastating flood, as portrayed by an anonymous gospel writer in Genesis. Let us take the rainbow to guide us into mystery and to find our way back to nature and the cosmos. The insubstantiality of the rainbow reminds us of the shaky ground when we're not attuned to the forces of nature. The colors, in their depth and intensity, may lead us to find color when discouraged by the blackness of unnecessary deaths by violence. The circle of the arc shows us what can be done when we act in tandem, sharing our wisdom, gifts, and our very selves. Continue to chase the rainbow, and perhaps find that pot of gold. Just in case. It is difficult to accept both the burden and the gift of wholeness, this seamless whole cosmos encompassing all that has evolved over 13.8 billion years. The grief of loss and the joy of rebirth play in tandem within us. And we remember William Blake's words, "And we are put on earth a little space, that we may learn to bear the beams of love." Go together. Be love in wholeness. Amen. Rainbow Covenant. Following the precedent of our God in making a covenant with earth and all creatures of earth, we, as representatives of the Christian faith, hereby make our covenant with earth and all creation. We promise to respect and protect earth as a sanctuary filled with the vibrant presence of the Creator, the cosmic presence of Christ, and the life-giving presence of the Spirit.
The whole earth is filled with your covenant. We promise to activate our primal mission to be partners with earth in ways that will facilitate the healing of earth in the current environmental crisis. The whole earth is filled with your covenant. We promise to respect the integrity of creation and protect the rights of all life on this planet, as well as the various domains of earth, who are our partners in our covenant with creation.
The whole earth is filled with your covenant.
We promise to find ways to reverse the current destructive practices of polluting Earth's atmosphere, felling Earth's forests, and violating Earth's waters.
The whole earth is filled with your covenant.
We promise to listen to the groaning of creation and the cries of injustice rising from earth, and, as the prophets of old proclaim publicly on earth's behalf, the wrongs humans have done to earth.
The whole earth is filled with your covenant.
We promise to prepare for the impending disasters in the lives of humans and their fellow earth beings resulting from climate change.
The whole earth is filled with your covenant.
We promise to explore with the cosmic Christ how the gospel is good news for healing creation in the current ecological crisis.
The whole earth is filled with your covenant.
May the rainbow remind you of your promises and the meanings behind those promises. Red for the fire of God's holy presence. Orange for the clay we share with our partner Earth. Yellow like gold for the great worth of all that is. Blue for the groaning and cries deep in creation. Indigo for the dangers our environment faces. Green for restoration, healing, to live in harmony with our Mother Earth. And violet for the healing presence of our cosmic Christ. Go in peace, serving Christ and loving earth.
We are part of creation, the amazing evolving planet we call Earth. Our faith calls us to be more than consumers, and so we respond in ways both big and small, striving to be love in the world. We ask that you also be more than consumers. We hope that you find these videos to be inspiring and ask that you respond by financially supporting our work. Donations can be made through our website, holycrosslutheran.ca. Your encouragement, comments, suggestions, and financial support are welcome. Our email address can also be found on our website. Thank you and blessings.